Our next big story, in-depth coverage on a report we first brought you on WPRI.com. A new poll's out taking the pulse of Rhode Island voters on some of the big issues facing the state, and WPRI.com reporter Ted Nesi joins us now. Ted, what were some of the big headlines to come out of this?
There were two that really stuck out to me, Steve. The first one was about the Pawtucket Red Sox and specifically that big push to build a new stadium in the city of Providence. Now, we knew it didn't seem particularly popular at the time as we talked to folks, but now we have the numbers to prove that. This poll has 74% of Rhode Island voters opposed to any kind of taxpayer subsidies to build a new stadium in Providence. But you also have 63% of voters, well over half, saying they want the Paw Sox to stay in Rhode Island. Again, this kind of fits with the sense we had, which is people would prefer the team to stay at McCoy, even though the owners say that's off the table. And the question is, would people support subsidies to rehabilitate McCoy Stadium, which wasn't asked in the poll? The other thing that stuck out to me, Steve, is Gina Raimondo, the governor's truck toll proposal, tolling trucks to fund bridge repairs. You have that at 53% of voters in favor. Not a huge overwhelming support, but a majority, and they'll be happy to see that. And you also have a big appetite to fix those roads and bridges. 76% of voters saying we don't spend enough in Rhode Island on fixing roads and bridges. But one thing they don't want, the gas tax. 2 out of 3 voters saying they do not want the gas tax raised to pay for that.
All right, so that's a lot of the issues there and everything. Something that I thought was really also interesting in this poll that we saw was 39% of Rhode Islanders say the state is headed in the right direction. 40% say the wrong direction. That doesn't sound great, but a lot of people are actually pretty happy about this.
Well, when you put it in context, Steve, people were so unhappy during the recession. I was looking back at our WPRI 12 Providence Journal polling. Only 12% of voters thought the state was going in the right direction back in 2010. Even only a year ago, during last year's election, we had 24% saying that. So now having 39%, almost 40% of voters saying that, it is an improvement. But you're right, being so far under 50% is still not good. It's still not what we were used to seeing before this recession, but it's just taking a long time for Rhode Island voters to sort of feel better about how things are going in the state.
Yeah, still a huge upgrade from where it was. All right, thank you very much, Ted. We appreciate it. And the coverage continues online. Read Ted's full report on the Hassenfeld Institute survey, including what Rhode Island voters think about government spending and the state's public schools.